Your brain is capable of moving at lightning speed. But every open tab, every unread message, every mental whisper dragging you to yesterday, it's slowing you down. This isn't laziness. It's friction, invisible, silent, deadly to your focus. What if I told you that true productivity isn't about effort, but eliminating resistance? In this video, we'll help you transform your workspace into a cognitive fortress and unlock a level of mental clarity you've never felt before. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Look around your space. Is it calm? Or is it a battlefield of unfinished thoughts? Notifications. Clutter. Silent reminders of things undone. These are not harmless. They're enemies. And if you don't build a mental fortress, you'll lose the war before it begins. In this video, you'll learn how the world's top performers weaponize their environment, not for aesthetics, but for execution. Ready to reclaim your focus? Let's begin. Blank. Underscore. Blank. You don't need more caffeine. You don't need another playlist. You need clarity. The kind that cuts through chaos like a blade. The reason you're stuck isn't lack of motivation. It's the mental friction you've let pile up. This video will teach you how to create a space so intentional, so stripped of distraction, that entering flow becomes inevitable. Stay until the end, because what comes next might just change the way you work forever. There's a war happening inside your mind, and you probably don't even realize it. But this isn't a battle waged against the outside world. No, the fight is internal. It's you versus you. Every moment you feel tired for no clear reason. Every time you open a screen and forget why you did. That's not exhaustion. That's not your body failing you. It's a trick, a mental illusion, a quiet deception from the very machine designed to help you survive, your brain. This machine, shaped over millions of years of evolution, is designed to conserve energy at all costs. And now, it's trying to convince you to stop. This isn't physical fatigue. This is psychological warfare. The fatigue you feel isn't your enemy. It's a trap, one cleverly laid by your environment. You assume your surroundings are neutral, but they're not. They're built, quite literally, to distract, to limit, to hold you back. Every ding from your phone, every platform algorithm, every micro habit you unconsciously perform, is a soft wall, whispering to your subconscious, "This is enough. Just stay here." But right beneath the surface of your attention, beyond the distractions, there is another layer. A darker, more intense realm of the mind. A zone where willpower surges. Where you stop waiting for motivation and start moving like a soldier with no backup. No retreat. Just one direction left. Forward. This is where you overclock your mind. It's the space where you begin working while others have already quit. You start to see patterns others overlook. You begin tapping into a raw, almost primal form of energy. It doesn't feel sweet. It feels dangerous. And that's because it is. It's the energy of pure, unshakable self-control. And now, right now, is the moment to access it. The year is slipping by. Every distraction costs you clarity. But clarity is what you need most. And in this war, we're going to arm you with the key. Let's begin with part 1. Understanding the myth of cognitive fatigue. You think you're burned out. You think your brain's battery has drained. You glance at the clock. You feel your heart rate rise. And your thoughts blank out. Naturally, You assume it's time to rest. But you're wrong. What you're feeling isn't depletion. It's not some final wall. It's a threshold, a turning point. Most people stop there, but the few who understand the game, the ones who ignore that first wave of mental discomfort, they keep going. And something unexpected happens. Their mind doesn't shut down. It activates. That's what high performers understand. They aren't necessarily smarter. They're just less convinced by early fatigue. They push through. They reach a level most never access, the realm of what we'll call dark energy. Imagine the mind turning cold, laser focused, precision cut like a scalpel. In this state, creativity becomes a reflex, not a lightning bolt of inspiration, but a combat instinct. Look at James Dyson, the man behind the revolutionary bagless vacuum. Before the world saw success, Dyson endured 14 years of failure, mockery, and isolation. From 1979 to 1993, he followed the same brutal cycle: design, build, test, fail, again and again, over 5,000 times. No investors believed in him. Banks rejected him. Friends dismissed him. His wife had to support them by teaching art. And yet, each time he looked at another failed prototype, another pile of broken parts, he muttered the same internal mantra: "This is just the first threshold." He didn't believe in stopping. He didn't wait for a spark of genius. He kept moving forward with what looked like delusional belief. And finally, on the 5.127th try, the machine worked flawlessly. That moment didn't just change Dyson's life. It shook the entire vacuum cleaner industry. A man who had no support, no capital, and no certainty created a product that forced global corporations to change. Why? Because he understood one forgotten Stoic truth, the kind of discipline that gets lost in modern life. It's the ability to keep going when your brain begs you to stop. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Difficulties show men what they are." Hardship doesn't break you. It reveals you. You only discover your strength when you run out of excuses and still find a way to continue. Fatigue? That's not a reason to quit. It's the invitation to break through. Epictetus, once a slave, later a philosopher, knew this deeply. He had nothing, but he kept his mind sharp. He understood that limits aren't real. They are beliefs, self-written rules. So, here's the question you need to ask. Are you truly tired, or do you just believe you are? Picture this. A dark zone pulsing in the distance, echoing with the rhythm of doubt. Most people turn back at the sound. They reach for comfort, coffee, distractions, excuses. But if you're patient, if you're ruthless, if you're stoic, you keep going. With each step forward, you fight against your own instinct to retreat. Then suddenly, like flipping a switch, the hesitation disappears. You enter a deep flow state. No more noise, just pure execution. You're not working anymore. You're being operated by something inside, something colder, sharper, more focused. That's dark energy. It's not fiction. It's not magic. It's the outcome of pushing through fatigue with discipline. When you feel like stepping away, like quitting, remember, this is the edge. The breakthrough is right on the other side. Don't walk away. You don't need more talent. You don't need more time. You just need to keep going. Each time you do that, something inside shifts. Your brain rewires itself. It replaces fear with focus, avoidance with action. And that's how people become great. Not because they're born different, but because they ignore what others accept as limits. So now you've seen through the myth. The story of, "I'm tired," has collapsed. It was never real. It was just a voice. But there's still one obstacle left, the biggest one of all. It's not inside you. It's all around you. Your environment. And that's where we're headed next. Mental thermodynamics, a fancy term. But its principle is simple. The less friction you have, the faster your mind can move. But don't be mistaken. This friction isn't physical. It's mental. A scattered force within. It's the open news tab calling your name like a siren. It's the photo on your wall pulling your memory back into yesterday. It's the notification that seems harmless but hijacks your dopamine system. These are not small things. They are cognitive traps. And that's why you must turn your workspace into what can only be described as a cognitive fortress a mental stronghold where distractions are not just removed. They're annihilated. But let's be clear. Building a fortress isn't about aesthetic design. It's not about minimalism for the sake of style. It's a ritual, a declaration of war. The moment you sit down, your brain must feel it. This is no place for wandering thoughts. There is no retreat. Turn off the notifications. Close the tabs. Kill every unfinished loop that clings to the edges of your mind. That half-written journal entry. The email you keep dodging. The file you promised to edit later. And then, set your triggers. Not random objects, but symbols of intention. A quote taped to your wall. A specific coffee mug. A photo that reminds you what's at stake. Maybe a small ritual, like tapping your desk 3 times. That tells your nervous system. The work begins now. And above all, choose a space that's clean, white, empty, not cold, but calibrated, like the sterile chamber of a lab. Because this isn't about comfort. This is the temperature required to ignite. Maya Angelou understood it, and she wasn't alone. Elite athletes, grandmasters, composers, they all knew. Greatness doesn't come from raw willpower. It comes from creating a space so stripped of distraction, your entire identity fades. A place where you vanish from the work, and the work takes over. Because genius isn't about working more. It's about working deeper. And to vanish into the world must be locked out. You can't expect your brain to run like a high-speed engine if you're navigating the mental junkyard. Every open window, every background task, every subtle beep or buzz, it's a leak. A crack in your attention. A thread tugging you away from your battlefield. And the more threads left loose, the more scattered your fight becomes. So let me ask you, do you want to grind for 14 hours and produce average work? Or do you want to compress that power into 4 focused hours that feel like you're flying? Do you want to wait hours for inspiration to arrive? Or do you want to launch into a flow state in 7 minutes? Start here. Start ruthlessly. Close everything unnecessary. Asterisk. You're not lacking motivation. You're being dragged down by open loops. Invisible scripts. Like viruses, eating away at your neural bandwidth. A message you haven't answered. A notebook still half filled. A to-do list item glaring at you. These aren't small. They're friction. And friction is your enemy. The answer isn't to do more. The answer is to clear more. Clear your desk. Clear your tabs. Clear your mind. Anchor yourself in the now, with a sound, a light, a ritual. Then observe the magic. Energy returning. Not from caffeine, not from music, but from the silence itself. This isn't motivation. This is asterisk mental physics. Less friction equals more speed. And if you think reducing friction is the final goal, let me stop you right there. That's just the beginning. Because once you've removed the distractions, it's time to go beyond preparation. You need to command asterisk flow asterisk, and do it on your terms. No more waiting for the right move. No more hoping you get into the zone. In the next part, you'll discover how world-class performers enter deep focus not by accident, but by design. Flow becomes a switch, and you learn to flip it. And the secret? It's not mystical. It's not luck. It's a system. Let's go there next. It was a cycle built for warriors, demanding minds sharp as blades and stamina like elite special forces. But here's the key. They didn't sprint endlessly. After each intense push came a deliberate, purposeful cool-down. No frantic meetings. No endless coding. Instead, they showed up late. They attended sketching workshops. They walked barefoot along the beaches of Santa Monica, not to shut their brains off, but to release the mental tension. The result? Cortisol, the stress hormone, dropped by 32%. And in the very next sprint, team productivity surged by 18%. They didn't win by working faster. They won by recovering smarter. They understood what many forget. The brain, no matter how brilliant, needs time to sharpen its own blade. Without that cool-down week, they might have shipped a game, but it wouldn't have been a masterpiece. And they definitely wouldn't have survived 2.5 years to create a legend. Stoic philosophy doesn't preach constant battle. In fact, it warns you, clearly, against the illusion of endless strength. Epictetus once said, "No great thing is created suddenly. Nothing monumental appears in a single flash of brilliance. It's forged through harsh rhythms, but smart ones." The Stoics weren't afraid of hardship, but they were never foolish enough to charge into fire without armor. Stoicism isn't blind endurance. It's asterisk strategic endurance. You go all in for 4 to 6 weeks, your routine tight as steel. Distractions eliminated, discipline automatic. Then, you deliberately cool down for 1 to 2 weeks. Not from weakness, but from wisdom. During this window, you don't grind. You recalibrate. You reset your dopamine. You learn at half speed. You write terrible drafts without pressure. You let your nervous system breathe. And when you return, something powerful happens. You're not just recharged, you're lethal. Controlled burnout isn't rest. It's the art of walking away from the battlefield while you still have strength in reserve. So when you return, you strike sharper, faster, more precisely. But here's the trap. The naive burn to the last drop. They grind until they're broken. And when the crash comes, they don't bounce back in a week or 2. They don't reset, they drown. Their drive disappears. Their clarity evaporates. They don't need rest. They need rescue. But not you. Because you know when to stop. You don't worship hours. You master energy. You understand that overclocking the mind isn't just about working harder. It's about working with rhythm. You could grind 14 hours a day. You could skip meals, cut sleep, and ride the caffeine wave. But if your brain has no time to heal, you're just stacking stress on top of stress. And eventually, the system will crack. True performance doesn't come from non-stop action. It comes from smart cycles. Just like muscles need recovery to grow, the brain needs stillness. Stillness repairs the micro-fractures you can't see, the invisible damage from all those high-speed thoughts. And in that stillness, when you take aimless walks without headphones, when you just stare at clouds, ideas rise from the depths. Why? Because you've stopped interrupting your brain's most natural system for regeneration. You try something new, martial arts, sketching, philosophy, not for fun, but to activate neural paths that have never spoken before. And then suddenly, a breakthrough arrives, not from thinking harder, but from reconnecting deeper. You reset dopamine by stepping away from fake wins. No social media hits. No inbox clears. No task lists just for the thrill. You slow down to speed up. So when you return, it's not to continue. It's to begin again with the energy of a rebirth. This is not laziness. This is a calculated pause designed for war. Stoic wisdom doesn't glorify the grind. It doesn't romanticize rest. It teaches rhythm. Inhale, push, exhale, recalibrate. Because a body that only burns collapses. A mind that only absorbs breaks. Not from weakness, but from broken rhythm. Modern culture worships the 16-hour-a-day hero. Hideo Kojima sleeping in his studio. Stories that sound noble, but end in breakdowns and burnout. Yes, you can work yourself into legend, but you can also lose your mind. And that's the line Stoicism helps you walk. The Stoic who works just 6 hours might outperform the hustler grinding 16. Why? Because every move is deliberate. Every thought is controlled. No wasted energy. No unconscious reflexes. They don't just manage time. They manage themselves. That's the real difference. Not who works longer, but who controls the rhythm. Anyone can burn bright, skip sleep, slam energy drinks. But how many can sustain peak form for 3, 6, 12 months? Can you recover better than a genius? Because that's how you outlast them. Burn, rest, return. Like a machine built for war. You don't need more talent. You need a superior operating system. And when the world slows down, you accelerate. When others break, you reappear, upgraded. This is how you outwork brilliance without burning out. We've crushed the myth of fatigue. Built your friction-free fortress. Summoned flow on command. And now, mastered the burnout cycle. This isn't motivational fluff. It's Stoicism, re-engineered for modern warfare. Discipline, precision, control. That's your advantage. Now, it's your turn to step forward. Have you ever entered that state where hours vanished and work felt effortless? What ritual helped you unlock it? Drop your insights in the comments. We read every one. And if this message lit a fire inside you, like, share, subscribe. We're building a movement of modern-day warriors. And don't go far. Your next step awaits in the next video. Because once you've seen what's possible, you can never go back.